Hey guys, Grant Baldwin here. Today we're going to be talking about 7 different ways that you can build confidence as a public speaker. Public speaking is an amazing way to make a living, but like most career paths, there is a bit of a learning curve at the start. So if you're just getting started with public speaking or you're only a few years into your career, I'd love to give you some tips to help build your confidence as a speaker. So why is confidence even important? Well, I believe speakers who maximize their confidence deliver better talks, generate more buzz when they're on stage, and book more repeat gigs. Having a confident mindset is one of the most powerful tools that you can have as a professional speaker. Now, what I'm not going to share with you today are tips to help you project a confidence that you don't actually have. This isn't a lesson in faking it until you make it. I want to show you 7 ways that you can focus your efforts as a public speaker, and in doing so, your confidence in your craft and your business will organically grow. So if you're ready to be more confident as a public speaker, let's jump right in. Tip number 1 is to rehearse like you mean it. See, one of the easiest ways to build confidence in what it is that you do on stage is to rehearse. See, there's really no shortcut for this idea, and frankly, there shouldn't be. It's your job as the presenter to be extremely familiar with the ideas you're presenting. That's why you've been brought in to speak in the first place. You want to rehearse your strong opening, rehearse the stories in your talk, rehearse the powerful way that you want to close. You become a better speaker with every speech that you give, whether it's in rehearsal or the real deal, so don't skimp on your rehearsal time. The more reps you get, the better you become. Now, I know this seems obvious, but it cannot be stressed enough. The more you know your content, the better you will be at delivering it. And the better you are at delivering it, the more engaged that your audience will become. See, this is important because there are a few things that boost a speaker's confidence more than an engaged audience. When you're hitting your stride in a talk and you can feel that the audience is leaning in on every word, your confidence will soar. So you want to rehearse, and then rehearse some more. Nothing is more important to your confidence than practice. Tip number 2 is to know how you'll dress. Now, this might be a surprise to some of you that we're talking about clothing, but a big part of feeling confident on stage or anywhere for that matter is dressing the part. Give yourself plenty of time to think through, choose an outfit ahead of a gig. This will allow you to make sure that everything is cleaned and ironed, and it will be the last thing that you have to worry about as you're getting ready for your event. Make sure that you're aware of any dress code the event or host company might have, and if possible, rehearse in the outfit that you plan to wear on stage to make sure that it feels as good as you think it will. If it's the first time that you're putting on a new piece of clothing, the time to find out that it doesn't properly fit is a few days or weeks before the event, not a few hours before the event. Also pay special attention to your shoes. Make sure that they're comfortable. Make sure that you can move around on the stage freely without worrying about slipping or tripping or falling. And yes, ladies, this means carefully considering if your heels are going to give you the freedom of movement that you need as you give your talk. One last thing is to make sure that your outfit has some type of pocket or a waistband for your mic pack if there's a chance that you're going to be wearing a lavalier mic. Also make sure that your jewelry and hair potentially won't interfere with your microphone if it's clipped onto your lapel or your collar. Putting thought into your outfit ahead of time will mean one less thing that you have to worry about on the event day, and knowing that you look good boosts your confidence as you get ready to speak. Tip number 3 is to know your location. Just like you want to be familiar with what you're going to say in your talk, it will also help if you're more familiar with where you're giving your talk. Now, I know that you can't always do this. So there's going to be those occasions where maybe the logistics of the event or your travel schedule mean that you don't really have much venue prep time. You're getting there a couple hours before your talk, and a quick glance of the stage is just going to have to suffice. It happens, but as much as you can, make it the rare exception. Ideally, you're going to have ample prep time to explore the venue and the stage so you know what to expect. Are there any steps or bumps that you need to be aware of? Is there any furniture that needs to be added or removed from the stage? Do you know where you'll be coming from and headed to before and after the talk? Figuring all these things out ahead of time will add to your confidence when it's time to speak. Beyond the actual stage, you also want to get an idea of what to expect with the audience. How close is the front row? How far away is the back row? Don't be afraid to make requests if you feel like there's an issue with the seating arrangement that should be addressed. As long as you do it respectfully, the worst that can happen is that they say no. But you never know unless you ask. Being familiar with the venue is key to feeling confident as a speaker because it can protect you from minor issues that have the potential to trip you up on the day of your talk. Tip number 4 is to know your tech. There are a few things that can shake a speaker's confidence as greatly as technology issues can. So faulty mics or crashing slide programs or other digital disasters have derailed even the best speakers over the years. Now, while you can't prepare for every single challenge, to the best of your ability, you can make sure that you are familiar with the technology at your event. Check the mic to make sure that the sound levels are appropriate and that there's no feedback. Check your slides to make sure that they look like they're supposed to and that they've got the most recent version of them. Check your little clicker thing too, if you're using one, to make sure that the batteries are charged and that you'll be able to advance your slides no matter where on stage you are. You see, at the end of the day, we're all at the mercy of technology to work like it's supposed to. But if you've taken the time to check everything properly, you've done your part and you can have confidence that things are going to work like they're supposed to. Tip number 5 is practice the sales conversation. Now, one of the things that many speakers, especially new speakers, struggle to do confidently is to talk about fees for their talks. Now, look, I get it, I understand. It can be uncomfortable to quote your fees at first, but it may feel like you're saying like, hey, everyone, like this is what I'm worth. But here's the thing you have to remember. You're not just selling you. The fee that you are quoting is not what a client is paying for you. It's what they're paying for the results and the outcomes that you can deliver. They're paying for a solution to the problem that you help solve. If there was some new disease out there that you knew the cure for, would you feel sheepish or reluctant to tell people what it was? Of course not. When you know you have helpful information or you know how to solve a problem, it's really easy to share it. The same goes for your speaking fee. When you believe there is value in your talk, if you know it's going to help people, you should start to feel more confident saying so. Sometimes that little subtle shift in your mindset is enough to make it easier to stand in your worth and share your fee and confidence with those sales discussions. The other thing that can give you confidence in sales conversations is just practice. Just like you would rehearse a speech, you can also gain confidence from rehearsing your sales pitch. The more you quote your fee and get booked at that fee, the easier it becomes to do it each and every time after that. Remember, your services are not going to be for everyone. Even the most successful speakers get rejected more than they get hired. So practice those sales conversations with confidence. Have them as often as you can and do so believing that you can deliver on the results and the outcomes that you are asking clients to pay for. Tip number 6 is to give your schedule some margin. This is a good tip for all life, not just for public speakers, but when at all possible, give your schedule some margin. Rushing around to and from events because traffic was bad or your flight was delayed or you can't find the right conference room is eventually going to burn you. The confident speaker is one who has built time into their schedule to account for the unforeseen. Keep this in mind when you're planning out your speaking events. Don't take the last flight that you can possibly take to your event without missing it. Don't give yourself 10 minutes for sound check instead of 30. Don't get on stage with 45 minutes of material when you've been promised a 40-minute block of time. Plan wisely and give yourself some margin, and you can be confident that you'll be ready when things don't go as planned. And all that brings us to our last tip for being a confident speaker. Tip number 7 is to speak, speak, speak. Now, this one is pretty obvious and intuitive, but it has to be said. The more you speak, the more confident you get as a speaker. Speaking in public, it's kind of like riding a bike. At first, you might feel nervous. You may be wearing elbow pads and knee pads, and you want mom out there holding the back of the bike while you slowly wobble and pedal around. But the more you do it, the more comfortable and more confident you become. You slowly realize that you can shed those elbow pads and knee pads, and because you're more confident, you'll actually stay upright. Eventually, you tell mom to let go, and you're riding all over the neighborhood without a second thought, wondering, how could I ever have been afraid to do this? That's the experience many public speakers have. They start off nervous and hopeful, but as they put the reps in, they get better. They earn confidence, and eventually, they really enjoy it. And so my challenge to you is to speak as much as you can and in as many ways as you can as well. You don't always need a stage. You don't need a microphone to speak. Find other ways that you can use your voice to deliver your message. So go on podcasts, broadcast on Facebook Live, do volunteer announcements at church. Each time you successfully use your platform to speak in any way, you're going to grow more comfortable and confident with the craft of public speaking. You'll get better at telling stories, better at using scripts, better at improvising, better at engaging an audience. You want to seek out as many of these opportunities as you can, and don't be afraid to take chances. As you do, you're going to keep honing your skills, and your confidence will continue to soar. So there you have it, 7 ways to build your confidence as a public speaker. If you found this video helpful, click like and let other people know. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos with more tips and thoughts on becoming a better public speaker. Also, after you subscribe, I'd love to hear from you. So leave a comment below. Let us know one thing that has helped you to gain more confidence as a public speaker. I'm going to be reading every comment and trying to respond to all of them, and I can't wait to hear from you.